They are there to be the deities of Cybertronian history from where it all began millennia ago. Of course, this is the 13 Primes. But what if the 13 Primes were in Shattered Glass, where the world is reversed, where good becomes evil, and the 13 Primes may not be as godlike as we like to believe? Let's find out on the other side of the Matrix.
The other side of the Matrix.
Many thanks to Vaults of Iacon for the new introduction. So first we need to understand what it would look like for the 13 Primes to appear in the Shattered Glass universe. We're going to have to look at their abilities and how they would change. So in original canon you have Primer Prime, who is believed to be the original bearer of the Matrix and also wield of the artifact the Star Saber. How this would change: you have a Julius Caesar-like mentality to be the original bearer of the Matrix but not willing to give up the power, holding on to it absolute and have the power effectively revolving around them, and for all the other Primes to look at Primer Prime enviously. The Star Saber, rather than being a righteous tool of power, could end up being a tool to be feared, to be used to slay enemies for anyone who would try to take the Matrix from Primer. Next there's Vector Prime, the guardian of space and time. And in the Shattered Glass universe, this could be used as a vortex to trap souls in both space and time. Rather than using the powers towards wisdom, indeed this goes around to trap other souls throughout the universe, to be feared throughout. Next there is Alpha Trion, who is a record keeper and a custodian of the supercomputer Vector Sigma. And in this Shattered Glass universe, Alpha Trion would be conceived as a false prophet, a record keeper, but a record keeper who could rewrite history to put himself into top positions. Also could end up holding Vector Sigma under lock and key to be a supercomputer for Alpha Trion's own mischievous needs and own desires. Solus Prime, who is the first female transformer and also a blacksmith for the Primes. Not too much change here, but would still be a blacksmith to forge evil weaponry. Micronus Prime would come next, the only mini-bot who is a Prime. Not too much change here in the fact that he can still be a mini-bot, but also his abilities is to enhance his other Prime's fellow abilities, so no particular change in the Shattered Glass universe. Alchemist Prime, to be a bit of a mad scientist, and whilst it's perceived that Alchemist is a inventor, a creator, this would become more of a Shockwave or a G-Axis-like character, creating wild experiments, unethical experiments, pushing the boundaries of laws and science. Nexus Prime, who famously carries the Enigma of Combination. The only change in the Shattered Glass universe is that this Enigma would force other Transformers would combine against their will, forcing a bit of a unholy matrimony come the end of it. Onyx Prime, the Beast Transformer, who can also have the ability to see past, present and future. No particular change here other than using their ability to enhance their own status. Amalgamous Prime, the power to transform with a transformation cog. The Shattered Glass version would be that the power would be to remove the transformation cogs from the Transformers, taking away their ability to enhance themselves. Quintus Prime, the creator of life, but in the Shattered Glass world this would be an extinguisher of life, using the Quintessons as his own personal hit squad. Liege Maximo, who famously believed there had to be chaos to have order, a bit of an anti-hero, a bit of a Loki-esque character. The only change in the Shattered Glass universe is that this is a Prime with a conscience. Megatronus, the first Decepticon, the first Fallen. The same trait can happen here, can still be exiled from the Primes, can still become the first Decepticon, and can go on to be the idol of the heroic Decepticons in Shattered Glass. Now it does get confusing as to what other versions of Primes out there. There are some other ones to choose from, such as Zeta Prime, who is considered to be the leader of the Primes, the most powerful of the Primes. He can be a Death Squad leader. Nova Prime in IDW was considered to become corrupt with power, wanting galactic conquest and expansion of the Transformers race, believing them to be advanced more so than anybody. In the Shattered Glass universe, this is going to be seen as a visionary, an explorer. Sentinel Prime, in particular the Dark of the Moon version, this is considered to be a masterstroke warrior. Again, no real change here. And Optimus Prime, to be the 13th Prime, the final Prime, the Prime who is believed to bring balance to it all and to revive the legacy of previous Primes. This can still go on in Shattered Glass, but Optimus Prime is a crusader, is a devourer of worlds, and continues the uprising and the onslaught of the Primes that preceded it. So that's the power and the abilities, but how does it impact the Transformers storytelling of the cartoons and the comics over the last 40 years? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't particularly, because they predate a lot of the stories, and a lot of the 13 Primes story is considered to be myth, legend, that the Transformers themselves have to go back and find their own records, only encountering the likes of Sentinel or Alpha Trion along the way. One change you can look at is in the story of the Transformers 1 film, how Orion Pax, D16, Alita and Bumblebee all find the Primes in their final form in a battle where they are tricked and betrayed by Sentinel Prime. The change in this is that all the Primes can go off together to plunder on a mission of conquest of their own, but instead are usurped and betrayed by one of their own, who decides it's time to bring down the evil regime. The Primes will fall, leaving only Alpha Trion to remain, giving Optimus Prime the ability to rise up in the Shattered Glass universe and to begin the Autobot uprising against the heroic Decepticons. The stories do not change so much because the interaction with the Transformers characters are so slim and few and far. These are considered older Transformers from an ancient time, and it is indeed their artifacts that would have the bigger impact of changing the stories in the Shattered Glass universe. It all happens in reverse. The Enigma combination has a big play in Combiner Wars, such as the Star Saber makes a big appearance in the Unicron trilogy. Primes themselves can rule with an iron fist from an evil Primus holding all the power from within, and it's down to the rest of the universe to pray for a heroic Unicron to come and cleanse the galaxy of this evil. And there we go. That is what if all of the 13 Primes were in the Shattered Glass universe. But what do you guys think? Would it have a big impact and change to the story? Or does it not really matter that much? Is the story of Transformers existing from the characters as we've known them rather than ancient deities and gods? Leave a note in the comments below. But anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you on the next one.